double the number given by, the force. Yesterday, I said it because I read it before that time that 48. I said, okay, let's put it at more than 48. But if you start counting 1 to 102, I don't understand. You know the number of bodies, human beings that would have, and if it's more than this 102, that means this is a big things will happen in Nigeria, and it's something that we are meant to be, mourning right now as a nation, flying our flag, half-mast and everything right now. But these things are just like normal things.
Yeah. If we didn't fly flag, half-staff or half-mast when Boko Haram killed more than 150 soldiers in Borno State.
Nobody told us the truth about that.
In Guzamala local government headquarters, Udumbali, in one attack.
One attack?
Yes.
Over 150 soldiers?
Yes, in one day. So if we didn't do that, I'm not surprised that in this case we've not done that. Officially now, 71 bodies have been received, and there are still corpses in the forest. Some parts of the forest remain inaccessible, so to go and retrieve corpses there is a problem. Sometimes even those boys deliberately make sure that people are unable to bury their loved ones. You cordon off the area, so that the pain will be greater. When you can recall that there is no marked grave for your loved one. There's nothing as painful as that. So, as part of the terror weapons at their disposal, they make sure that people can retrieve the remains of the dead. Now, some of the bandits that also died, it is believed that up to 100 of them died as well.
The bandits?
Yes, they also died in the skirmishes. The people, the vigilantes were misled as per the direction that the bandits were headed by some people in the community. Yes, so once they decided to move in that direction, they didn't know that these guys that they had laid an ambush there for them. The bulk of the killings were in Bakori, but some people were killed in in Kankara as well. As I've said yesterday, we've got to do something about those forests. The Rugu forest stretches through many local governments, beginning from Jibia, right up to Kankara, Basari, Dusima, and most of the local governments in Katsina South, this forest passes through them. So they have where to hide, and they are killing our people. We just have to find a way to keep those forests safe, because since they are passing through local government and people are residing in these local governments, there is no way they won't be having confrontation with these boys who from time to time will come and steal their cattle and all that. So it's our duty to protect our people in all of these places, Safana, Damusa, Sabua, which lies along the border with Kaduna State. We've got to protect our people. This same forest stretches all the way to Brinengwari. So you can imagine how big the forest is. Some of the forests in northern Nigeria stretch up to Central African Republic. So these people, it makes it difficult to pin them down. That's why they can kidnap people in Kaduna. You then hear that they are now in Niger. They can kidnap people in Niger. You hear that they are in Kebbi, because those forests link one another. The old northwest states, very big at that time. Those states, they were all part of the old northwest state, like Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, as big as Niger is. You can imagine how
The
big.
biggest states.
Yes, today, biggest state in Nigeria. And it used to be a part of Sokoto, it used to be a part of Kebbi. They must have been a very big state at that time under the leadership of a governor. You know? So we just have to do something about those forests, because this will not be the last time that will happen. And you can be sure that even this one that happened, there will be retribution of some sort. They are going to try to avenge these killings, because this is just too much.
I'm wondering the kind of we are so overwhelmed by some other things that people dying is just like no big deal again. Doesn't make headline.
Shortly before this program started, I spoke with a friend who lives in Katsina, and he was telling me that the situation is grim, that what we are reading or what we are seeing is not a half reflection of the true situation. And it's surprising, and
that means those guys came and they massacred.
exactly, and it's surprising and a bit unsettling that this is happening in the president's home state. And if it were to be happening in another state, you might say that, okay, he doesn't care or something, but in his own home state. And it gives you a lot of concern. We have said this thing before. Several times we have been saying it. What exactly is the problem? Why is it that we cannot rein in these terrorists, bandits, or whatever you want to call them? Jide talked about the long stretch of the forest. I know some of those things too, because I grew up in the north, and I know all those forests are there. But there are ways that you can police those forests. You don't leave them to be an ungoverned space, because if you leave them as an ungoverned space, a lot of things will be happening there. We may not have enough security men and women to deploy, but there must be drones or helicopters or whatever that will be flying above and patrolling the place, so that there will be a sense of people are watching us. But in a situation where you walk or you travel 10 kilometers in the bush, and nobody to accost you, nobody to ask any question, you begin to ask yourself, what exactly is happening? Why is it that the security situation is still the way it is, and everything we are talking, everybody's attention is focused on February 25th, election, but people are dying. Over 100 people have died. Nothing has been done. If it is in France now, we will all come out and be using Facebook to mourn them and all that. Why? Why is it that something so close to us in our own homestead is happening like this, and nobody cares? The governor has done the best he could do, but the entire situation rests squarely on the commander-in-chief. And if this is happening in the home state of the president, I wonder what will happen if it were to be in other states.
All right. The G5 governors debacle remains a hard nut for the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to crack. In another twist to the crisis, the Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, has ordered the PDP not to make any attempt of suspending or expelling Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State from the party. The judge, Justice Omotosho, ordered that all parties in the suit shall maintain peace and not take any action or step or act that may make the outcome of the motion or notice worthless. Governor Wike had asked the court to order a stay of status quo pending the hearing and determination of the originating summons that threatened to suspend or expel him. Another card being played by Governor Nyesom Wike to preempt the battle.
Yes, because having now suspended some of his loyalists, the chairman of the party in Ebonyi, the Fayoshe
faction of the
Namani, and they proceeded to dissolve the ESCO of the party in Ekiti State. We all know that the ESCO of the party
belongs to
was loyal to Fayoshe. So he must have reasoned that the rate at which they are going, especially if they are achieving success, that they will eventually come to him. So he's taking the decision now. He said, okay, let me use the court to restrain them, from taking any action. And the court has adjourned till February 14, for hearing. So this kind of matter can be decided on that day. So what he's trying to do is kick the can down the road,
to make sure
buy time, stop the
spill over the election,
stop the party from taking any
suspending him
action that can affect his standing in the party. For now, his standing in the party remains. He doesn't want anything that will
especially before the
upset his standing in the party before the election, so that he can achieve his aim. So he's gone to court. Remember even some court cases that the PDP filed against the opposition in the state. The national chairman last week. The national chairman.
Okay, the national chairman now.
Yes, Ayu.
Took
the decision to withdraw those cases without any form of deference to Isan Wike. So he can sense that they are coming closer. Coming closer. So he does not want to be caught unawares.
And they don't want to.
So he has decided to not back down. They too have decided to not back down. Because, look, let's face it, IU cannot
step down
at this stage.
19 days to the election.
Their argument then was that it was too close to the election. Is it in the month of the election that will now step down? So both sides have decided to dig in. And he's trying to use the court now to stop the party from moving against him. Because, look, he's boasted in the past to say, look, suspend me. Do this. But he is not waiting for them to suspend him. He is now using the judiciary to tie their hands behind their backs. In the past we were thinking, okay, does he have an ace up his sleeve?
Yes.
That what could that ace be?
What
will he
be
planning by saying, look, suspend me if you can? He's been saying that even after Fauci and others were suspended. He said, why don't you suspend me too? So nobody knows the feelings that he's getting that, you dare them, perhaps they could move against you, especially having taken some of these actions.
So being a lawyer.
He knows, and he's somebody who knows how to use the courts. That's a matter for another day. Now he's going to use the court now to stop them from moving against him. For me, the language of the ex parte order is even that they should not make an attempt. It's not saying don't even make the attempt to go for him. So
don't think about it.
Don't conceive the idea. Don't conceive the idea. Don't
so the
think
status quo
just leave him the way he is. So that's what and I know that this may not even be the last. If they make another move, it's likely to also use the court again. He's been successful largely at using the court to achieve a lot of his aims.
When you look at Nyesom Wike and you want to look at, because I've always been asking myself what will be his end game. And I know that if there's no reconciliation within the People's Democratic Party, can he succeed in inflicting a kind of irreparable damage within the party? Or this is just it's just bragging?
There is no doubt already that damage has been inflicted on the party. What the party is struggling to do now is to control the level of the damage. so as not to allow it to fester further. And now, if with some Wike gets away with this now, it will reoccur in the future because there will be some other people who want to rebel against the party. I mean, the people that have been suspended, who are suspected to be Wike's ally, who have been suspended, are people who are not holding any executive post presently. Fayose, former governor, Nnamani, so they are not people that can immediately cause any harm for the party now. But be that as it may, the reason why I'm surprised what Wike has done is that he has said in the past that if you think you have the liver, as we say on the street, suspend or expel me from the party. So why did he now go ahead to sue the party to say that they should not take any action against him? Maybe he has been able to read the situation that something is coming, which may not favor him. Because before, most of us have even wondered, what is the hold of this Wike on this party that with all that he has done, that the party has not even thought of expelling him? I mean, you cannot have done that in any other party or in the parties of 1979. I mean, we know what it was. So now an individual or some group of individuals are now showing as if they are much more powerful than the collective party. So it is still a mystery, and honestly, I still try to figure it out. What exactly does Wike want? And where is he heading?
Jude, I'm still going to follow up with that by asking you that the capacity of Wike, this G5 as a group, to inflict maximum, damage on the People's Democratic Party, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, they file 3, 4, 5 governors," but when you see the dynamics now, do you still see Wike that as still thwarting the chances of PDP?
If you look at PDP's performance in the last 2 elections, Rivers has always risen to the occasion for PDP. Atiku, the bulk of Atiku's votes had always come from the south, not the north, because Buhari dominates the north. So Atiku can only shop for votes in significant numbers in the south. And when you look at the INEC voters register, you see that after the big 3 states, Rivers,
over 1 million.
Rivers with more than 3 million registered voters, Rivers comes next, with Lagos at the top with 7.1
million.
Lagos at the top, Kano next, Rivers is the next. Despite the fact that Lagos has the highest number of registered voters,
Doesn't be utilized.
Lagos has never been able to outvote Kano.
Never.
Lagos has not been able to outvote Rivers. Despite the fact that in terms of the number of registered voters, every time, the last election, Lagos was number 1 ahead of Kano marginally. The same scenario has played out again.
But we don't pull our strengths.
Yes, but the capacity to mobilize on election day
to vote
is what makes the difference. And it's not only in our country that this happens, even in the US, the party with the capacity to get out the votes, that is the phrase, they call it get out the votes. The party best organized at moving from house to house and getting people, because people will register, but on election day, they get lethargic. They get lethargic. You
Want
know,
to stay indoors.
it's not
The
a
fear
Nigerian
of-
problem alone. They have to now get them out.
out to
They
vote.
get volunteers. They get people that they
go and-
pay.
yeah.
Parties invest tons of cash on that. You know, so in Kano, it's a lot easier to mobilize people,
Because the
especially the
political
women.
culture, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the people are very current about political trends.
Very, very.
You know, latching upon the BBC Hausa service,
Dutch Wila Hausa,
BBC,
Voice of America.
VOA Hausa service, and all that. You know, they
That's
don't,
their
they don't
own
joke with their
social media.
radio.
Yes, yes,
They
yes.
don't joke with their radio. It helps them to have
And the penetration is high.
Maybe that was why my friend Shehu Sane was distributing transistor radios to people.
To the-
He knows that the people value their radio. Even the Fulani herdsman
Yeah.
in the
You
forest,
can never see them.
you
without
see him
the-
with his radio. He wants to know what's going on.
bag
Yes,
and
yeah.
And a lot of the big people in our country, especially from northern Nigeria, they speak to BOA Hausa service.
Yes.
They speak to BBC Hausa service. You know?
DW.
Yes. Even the president has had to speak to them because he knows that they have
penetration
That is
the
where-
reach.
Unbelievable.
The
Yes.
reach is tremendous.
Yes.
So that accounts for why in the
That's their own
north, in the
Twitter and
north,
Facebook.
they are able to outvote the rest of us. But Rivers has always stood out, accounting for over 1 million votes
Yes.
at any time.
2019,
So
2015.
a state that gave you the highest votes,
You will not.
you
trifle
cannot
with
joke
it.
with
Yeah.
that state. And now that Wike has decided to go separate ways, you know that he will not be able to pull the kind of votes that he
Their
got
votes.
No.
in 2019. You know, he will
The
not be able
sitting
to do
governor
that. So
with the
it's-
war chest.
and they have the resources. People think that it's only on election day that you can actually buy votes.
No.
Nigerians make me laugh. In Osun here, actual vote buying began weeks before the election.
Of course.
Ramadan
Some people
period.
during the Ramadan,
Of
they gave
course.
them ram, they gave them cows.
Exactly.
That's
the,
they don't wait until election
No,
day
no, no,
anymore.
You could,
They don't wait until election day anymore.
The election day is
All
just
these
to
things, they
ramp
say, I know some parties that have begun house-to-house campaign like 4 months ago.
yeah.
They are servicing their constituency, giving them this gari, giving them. I think it was even contained in the report by Yaga.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know that long before
Voters
the election.
inducements.
Long before the
They've
election.
Yes, vote buying had begun.
Yes.
So people think that, oh, this
It's
thing,
election day, it is money.
let's praise Emefiele.
cash.
This thing, there will be no vote buying. Oh, I just look at them.
They penetrated the
It's
people.
like
they want to
locking
penetrate.
the stable when the horse has already
vote buying has
voted
begun
out.
a long time. The Nigerian politician is too sophisticated to wait until the last minute.
No.
You know, someone was telling, even off-season election in Kwara, they started giving people money like 2 days before the election. Some gave a day to the election. They still gave on the day of the election.
day
So
of the
it is not something that you do at the last minute.
All right. Okay, we take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Nigerians, my name is Kashim Shetima. I'm the APC vice presidential candidate. Here we have 1,776 orphans, vulnerable orphan girls from northern Borno, all of them victims of Boko Haram, our house and educated, getting the best that the nation has on offer. Look at this edifice. It's about one of the best schools in the nation. And this has been replicated along the length and breadth of Borno and further sustained by Governor Babagana Umara Sulum. What I think to office, we promise you such edifices will be replicated across the length and breadth of this nation. Vote wisely, vote Bola Tinubu for the presidency of Nigeria come February 25th.
A day to remember in the history of our dear country, Nigeria. 9 wise men from the north who are governors came together on June 8th, 2022 to stand for equity and fairness in the interest of our nation, Nigeria. They buried personal interest for the unity of our country. They supported the call that power must shift to the south in 2023. They chose a Nigeria agenda. We salute our brothers and sisters in the northern part of this country who, in spite of their vote advantage, continue to propagate the unity of Nigeria by promoting rotational presidency between the north and southern part of the country. Let voters in the north follow the move by these leaders. Vote for power shift to the south. It's the turn of the south to produce the president in 2023. Let's vote Bola Tinubu for president, for a renewed hope of better Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
My brother, my sister, do you know that winning an election is not only about getting the majority vote? For that your candidate to be declared winner of the election, he or she must secure 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all states plus the FCT to be president, and 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all local governments of a state to be governor. This is constitutional, and every presidential candidate has had to pass this threshold. Even governors have had to make this mark to get elected in their states. We live in one country with different languages, religions, and ethnic groups. This is why it is not enough to have only northern votes, or southern votes, or eastern votes, or western votes. The only way to get elected as president or governor is by gaining enough support across the country and states. Let us make sure that we know now so that we don't cause an issue tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO.
Igbo kwenu, oge anyị ji atụ akwụkwọ erugo. Gba mbọ tụnyere Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, eze ọgbara dike ọgụ nke ala oko, ka o wee bụrụ anyị president, ma onye nke ịbụọ ya Senator Kashim Shettima wee bụrụ vice president n'ala anyị bụ Nigeria. O nyere ụmụ Igbo ikikere ka ha wee nwee ọganiru n'ala Lagos. O mekwara ka ala Lagos bụrụ ebe nabatara ụmụ Igbo. Nke a mere Tinubu eyi ka nwanne. O nyere ya ike ime Lagos steeti ihe ọpụta. Ọ gaghị anyịkwa ya ike ime Nigeria ka ọ bụrụ obodo eji ama atụ. Ka ụmụ Igbo jikọọ aka tinye Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu nke APC ka o wee bụrụ anyị onye isi nke ala Nigeria. Ozi a site n'aka Ọzọ Obinna Francis Oguegbu, Ojele Igbo Ijele nke Igbo Arise for Tinubu Shettima. Anyị niile ụmụ Igbo niile, anyị niile chọrọ Tinubu.
State-of-the-art Nigerian Police Force National Command and Control Center was commissioned by President Muhammad Buhari in the last quarter of 2019. Since then, the police has been upgrading and expanding the control center so as to make it more technology-driven and aligned with modern-day policing. Security in the southeast came under severe threat following violent attacks on security formations and civilians by militant Biafran separatist group. Sustained security operation in this region has in recent times localized their operations to Imo and Anambra states, while government continue to employ strategies to engender peace and security in the entire Southwest.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
A day to remember in the history of our dear country, Nigeria. 9 wise men from the north who are governors came together on June 8th, 2022 to stand for equity and fairness in the interest of our nation, Nigeria. They buried personal interest for the unity of our country. They supported the call that power must shift to the south in 2023. They chose a Nigeria agenda. We salute our brothers and sisters in the northern part of this country who, in spite of their vote advantage, continue to propagate the unity of Nigeria by promoting rotational presidency between the north and southern part of the country. Let voters in the north follow the move by these leaders. Vote for power shift to the south. It's the turn of the south to produce the president in 2023. Let's vote Bola Tinubu for president, for a renewed hope of better Nigeria. Vote Kashim Shettima as vice president. Vote APC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you for staying with us, Jude. At the end of the day, we are going to know, even if Governor Wilson Wike, if he decides to announce formally or not to announce.
Maybe he's choosing, he wants to choose the right time. You know, timing is also a very critical factor in warfare.
Yes.
If you strike at the wrong time, it may prove fatal.
Yeah.
Even the warplanes, it's not every time that they can take off. So you have to choose the time, look at the weather and all that. And so it may be looking at the right time, maybe so close to the election. And Baba Olusola Saraki, who was known for this kind of politics, he will not do it until 48 hours to
48 hours.
or even less than 48 hours. He will just tell it.
And information will circulate.
It will circulate.
There was no
GSM
that time, but to circulate.
But it will circulate.
They have foot soldiers. Those foot soldiers will be the ones.
They are the ones that
they will say it verbally to their people. Those ones. So, and at the end, you see the effect. You see the effect. He would lie to them. He would deceive them until the last minute.
To the last minute.
That look, there's no problem. We have resolved. No, I don't have issues. You know. But at the last minute, he will just
strike. And everything will continue.
Once the man says it, forget it.
Who are those ones? Egbonile?
Egbonile was MPN then. That was a house was their own logo.
Okay.
So we just tell them, Ola, what the Adibo found Egbonile. That is it, and that's what will happen.
All right, moving on. Our complexity as a people always reflects in the manner we handle things as a country. The Naira redesign crisis in our hand is showing just that. A high court sitting in Abuja has issued a restraining order on President Muhammadu Buhari, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, and 27 commercial banks from suspending the cashless policy of the federal government. Justice Eneche made the order while ruling on an ex parte application brought by 4 political parties against the federal government and 27 commercial banks. In the related developments, 3 states from the northern part of Nigeria, Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara, have approached the Supreme Court to stop the federal government from going ahead with effecting the deadline for the use of the old Naira notes. So we are at crossroads. Let's share some videos of the situation regarding the crisis with you, where some banks have shut operations while some staff try to escape from office by jumping over the fence. This is Zenith Bank College Road this morning. They are saying there's no work today. The bank is shut. The customers here, they are stranded. They are telling them to be only rely on ATM. What? I'm a journalist.
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah? I'm a journalist. I work with TVC. I'm recording what is happening.
Are you making call?
I'm not making call. I'm recording what is happening. I'm a journalist. I work with TVC. You can't tell me this is a public place. Yeah? Yeah. No. I'm a journalist. I don't know. So you don't take permission. Don't take permission from you. No.
Everybody are aware.
And you are saying, I have not recorded. So, people are stranded. Yes. This is Zenith Bank in Ogba. College Road. I've been trying to make transfer all through the night. The app is still not going. No network.
Alima, gently, Shogbo. Gently. Just move gently. Gently. Don't be scared. Nothing. Just chop with your leg. Gently. Bele. Okay. Oh yeah, now go now. Make una dey fast. This kind of thing you have to be fast. Okay. See. You don't need to be slow. Fast. Relax. Just they do what you do. They can't go in. The major thing is for us to go through that place.
Go.
Just go gently. See, there's no time. Just go. You are safe. Just go gently. No, we'll carry. Gonna carry this thing. We'll even carry something. Say, gently, Neka, gently. Neka, here, you'd have given them the bag. Yeah, you try yourself. Careful. Where the delta off? Yeah, carry that in, eh? How you want to turn them upside down, Abi? Wait, turn the thing. They can't come in.
I don't know what to say.
I'm really ashamed.
I don't know what to say. The federal government
it's distressing.
to
I hope the CBN governor is
And some people are justifying
and
this.
you are justifying this for whatever reason.
The reason these guys working in the banks are running away is because they know that they don't have cash to give people.
And if
they know
they are apprehended,
and if they get hold of them, they will lynch them. They will strip some of them naked.
Nobody will
people are
listen to
frustrated.
them that they don't have the money.
You think that bank officer is your problem?
Nobody will listen to them.
In case some of you are in the business of carrying out the aggression on your branch manager or branch workers. No, they're not the problem.
What did we even see today? Zenith Bank has shut its branches, many of its branches in the country.
Yes.
Because according to them, they do not have enough cash supply for their teeming customers. That is their explanation. It's just like what GT Ogunye said. People are going about with this silly argument that, oh, it's the banks that are hoarding. In a country where there is no transparency, people are not asking the CBN governor, how many banknotes did you print? How many did you print?
The governor of the bank herself said that she doesn't even know how much.
Yes, okay. We were told that they printed 500 billion.
And we had
officially that one was announced that they printed 500 billion.
And you had
now you've mopped up 2.7 trillion. But you've only printed 500 billion.
How will you, and you fix a deadline?
And with a very short deadline. The president has been misled to believe that the place is flushed with cash. But that the banks are not distributing. Now, will bank staff risk their own lives? If indeed you have cash, will they be risking their lives the way they are doing?
It is something that is not enough that you can hold now.
Most of the branches of Zenith Bank, Zenith Bank, by the way, is Nigeria's most profitable bank by balance sheet.
Record.
Back to back. Most profitable bank. They are not the biggest bank in Nigeria now. Access Bank is the biggest Nigeria bank now, after the acquisition of
Diamond Bank.
In terms of number of ATM galleries, subscriber base, Access Bank is the biggest bank in Nigeria. But the most profitable bank in Nigeria by profit after tax is Zenith Bank. Now, this same Zenith Bank, one of the biggest in our country.
Since Friday,
they've locked up.
Log on to that app.
They've locked up their branches.
You don't get network.
You know, people who use this, they can even sit in their homes and try to transact electronically.
Yes.
But a lot of the poor people, they are coming to the bank
to
collect, even if it's 10. See what banks are doing. They said give people 20,000. They can't even give people 20,000.
They can't.
The first set of people who come, they will give them, they can give very few people 20. Later they come to 20 to 10. Later they say they are giving 5. If you have enough, these things will not happen. Let's know how much Emefiele has printed. It is at that point that we can even determine whether it
your
can
deadline is
go
Saturday.
It's 3 days time now. It's on Friday.
You saw what happened in Abeokuta now.
I'm telling you.
Riot, full-blown riot.
Yes.
What I'm even
I pray
thinking
they don't
about
plunge
is this.
this country into chaos.
What I'm even thinking about is this. If the problem is the 200, 500, and 1,000 naira notes, what happened to the 150 naira notes? Because if I go to the bank today and I want 20,000 and you give me 100 naira, if that is what is available, I'm going to take it. Yeah. But as it is now, that one is not even available.
We have to pay some bills.
So why?
We'll be right back. We're still on this crime crisis in the banking sector.
Fellow Nigerians, all our best hopes for Nigeria are achievable. By every measure, Nigeria can be a better, stronger country. We can be a nation of peace, a place of shared prosperity where everybody is somebody and equal justice under the law is enjoyed by all our citizens. In a few weeks, our country will go to the polls to elect political leaders and a president to lead our nation for the next 4 years. This is the most consequential election of our time. And we have it in our power to make the choice that allows us to achieve the grand possibilities of what Nigeria can be. Our path to greatness lies in recognizing the abiding truth that in a time of promise and peril such as this, the best thing we can do for Nigeria is to elect a leader with an established track record of achievement who has proven time and again his ability to triumph through adversity and succeed against the odds. In this election, that man is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now let me tell you about Asiwaju and national security.
My name is Kashim Shetima. I'm an agricultural economist by training, a banker by profession, and now a public servant by calling. I was the governor of Borno State for 8 years. In the heat of the Boko Haram, we set up an agricultural transformation committee. We crisscrossed the world and invested in the whole agricultural value chain. Lagos is the smallest state in Nigeria in terms of landmass, 3,577 square kilometers. But the largest rice mill in Africa and the third largest in the world is located in Imota in Lagos. That is the power of ideas. Bola Tinubu is an idea whose time has come. Let us vote for Bola Tinubu to be the president of Nigeria come 25th of February. God bless Nigeria.
So this is the big crisis we have to do something about. And it's not the meetings and series of meetings that will solve this.
You know, we are still seeing, we've seen people in Ibadan, we've seen people in Abeokuta, full-blown riot in Abeokuta today. There are some places that we must not allow it to get to.
At all.
Kano. Lagos. You won't be able to control it. And the pain that people are going through is spreading. Everybody is talking about it. It's not, we are not talking about politicians, the ordinary man. We don't care who wins an election. If people can feel what goes on in the hearts of some of us, we don't care who wins an election. We are not like people who are cheap, who are fixated on particular candidates. We are concerned about the Nigerian people, the poor people, people living in distant communities who have no access to banks and others.
Elderly women.
Nobody deserves to suffer.
Bank in Magodo here.
No,
they said, they were asking the security man, I had to just give the little I had. I had to call my mother because I don't want my mother in that situation.
Yeah.
Share the cash. No.
And what are we even giving people? Old notes. So.
Exactly.
It's old notes that we are spending up to now. Now, by the time that old notes, you can't use it. The bulk of people now going to POS and other places, it is old notes that POS are giving people. By the time people can't use that old note,
this crisis cannot continue.
By the time people can't use the old notes, that is when you will see real crisis. I can't imagine my wife working in a bank like this, and I'm seeing her scaling the wall.
That's the end of the job.
Now. You won't go
How much are they paying now?
We are seeing this problem manifesting in Lagos. What about areas that we don't see?
No, those
areas that are more
they don't have banks at all.
And they don't have banks at all.
And some of us are so comfortable, we sit down in Lagos here.
As a yardstick.
Now Lagos has now turned to...
When you even drive or you take a walk, any bank around you, you see the crowd of people and you begin to wonder. You suffer.
How many banks are here? How many of them are dispensed?
You suffer to walk to get money. Money is paid into your account, or you have money in your account. You are suffering again to get the money. I mean, what is it that the Nigerian will all enjoy in this country that we are in?
We know they watch us inside the villa. Somebody should tell Mr. President, this is not the policy for this time. Maybe good policy, but wrong timing.
It's the wrong timing. Nobody is saying that. And the time scale.
It is that
timing. It's the time scale. The time scale is what is wicked about it.
That is
ideally, this thing should have been like 6 months.
Exactly.
Ideally, if the Britons can do 2 years, what is wrong with us? We want to be like them. But we don't want to do things exactly the way they do it. If they can give 2 years, why are we insisting on just a few months? When some other people can give 2 years, are the Britons more human than us? Are we not all creations of God? Why do we disrespect our people so much? And this is the thing. Does it not diminish a woman to be scaling a wall? Does it not diminish womanhood? I mean, are people happy to see this kind of videos?
It can only happen in Nigeria.
Over their money.
It's disheartening.
We will stay on the matter. That's the promise.
Yes,
we will stay on the matter.
No, it's a matter that must be talked about.
We'll stay on the matter. You can blackmail us as much as we will stay on the matter.
Look at.
Okay, we'll take you down to Abuja now, where the Nigerian Labour Congress, they are hosting NLC delegate conference, where some presidential candidates will be addressing the Nigerian Labour Congress. I think, let's go to Abuja right now.
No permanent secretary had a car. So I just bought a car for them. I intend to do the same thing for directors in civil service. But you are not going. So where are you going to? He said, oh, he's going to his village. So when you go, why can't you live in Oka? He doesn't have a house in Oka. Do you have land in Oka? He said, no. I said, Commissioner, this woman have worked for 35 years. He doesn't have any land. I've been here less than 6 months. That is the problem of your country. So take that my land and give to this woman. This is the woman that merited it. The reason why I call the head of service is that you can go and. So every story I tell you here is open for this. We want to build a new Nigeria. A Nigeria where we're going to move Nigeria from consumption to production. And we will do that. People will have a job. My dear colleagues in the struggle for a new Nigeria, this coming election should not be on tribe, should not be on ethnicity. No tribe in Nigeria is safe. No tribe buys bread cheaper. Every tribe in Nigeria is suffering. The poor masses of Nigeria are suffering. So please, do not vote for anybody because it's related to you or your tribe. This year's election, please, do not vote for anybody because of religion. No religion is safe. They are kidnapping everybody, including bishops and imams, traditional rulers, and everybody. Nobody is safe. No religion buys bread cheaper. All these are what we politicians contrive to achieve a purpose. As soon we get there, we forget everybody. Please, Dubai is thriving today. If you go to Dubai, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic. The Catholic church in Dubai, the land and the church was built by Emir of Dubai. He's not a Catholic, he's a Muslim. If you go to London, the biggest piece of land in the UK is where they built the mosque, Central Mosque. The land was given free by the Queen. He's not a Muslim. So please, it is time we avoid all these sentiments. Do not vote for anybody on the basis that it is this person's turn. It is turn of Nigerians to take back their country and make it work. If anybody, this year's election must be based on character. This election must be based on character we can trust. So if anybody wants to be the president of Nigeria, he should come out and tell Nigerians, starting by introducing himself, saying his name, who he is, schools he passed, who are them, when he introduces himself properly. It's no longer, we have to have a proper identification of anybody. My name is Mr. Peter Obi. I was born in Onitsha. I went to Christ the King College, and luckily for me, Professor Tommy was my senior in school. I have about 4 people here who have identified themselves as my schoolmates. I'm an alumnus of University of Nigeria in Soka, an alumnus of Oxford University, an alumnus of Cambridge University, an alumnus of Kellogg University. I can go on and on. So I'm a businessman. I was a social businessman, a social banker. So I will introduce myself. So that's what we want. My vice presidential candidate is Dati Baba Ahmed. Everybody knows who he is. He has a school and everything. He runs one of the 2 best universities here now that. Both of us have an entrepreneurial background, and I've worked in government and everything, and you have something you can say, this is us. You know us. This year's election must be based on competence. We want people who are competent. No longer are we going to have people who don't know where they're going and they're leading us. No. We want responsive and responsible government. The leader must tell us where he's driving this vehicle to. And you are the owners of this vehicle. You are the passengers in this vehicle. We must not hire the right driver, the right people to pilot the affairs of this country. We cannot continue the way we're going now. Look at our growth. Nigeria grew for 5 years between 2011 and 2015 for an average of 5%. And we thought we were going to get it better. Our growth in the next 5 years became about 1%. We can no longer move with this trajectory. We must have people who are competent. We must have people who are committed to doing the right things. We need commitment. We have people who have capacity to do the job. This job requires physical and mental capacity. The country is already sick. It is not a retirement home, and it's not a job thing. It requires physical. And we now demand that we want people who will communicate to us. They must show compassion and they must communicate to us. When I started this job, started campaigning, people will always say to me, Peter, where are your spokespeople? Where do you see people looking for a job and people are going for interview for them? Where? Only in Nigeria. If you are going to job, you appear yourself and face the interview. What we are looking for is job. So people should be able to come so they can be properly screened. So we don't hire vote people via this thing. That's what it is. I'm offering myself to serve. And you're free to ask me everything. I don't have spokespeople. Because everybody says, Peter, this thing you're saying, your spokespeople can go and say it. Why? That is why they're saying it. Just like when they were writing my manifesto, when we were doing my manifesto, people say no. People can write it. I say no. I'm going to write it. Because it's me who is going to defend it. None of you will be there when they put me on the spot and be calling me and my children's name. I want to write this manifesto and everything. And that's where it should be. We want to do the right thing. We have a country. When I say we are going to move from production to consumption, Pastor Tommy will tell you, I met what I can call the richest of Nigerians a few days ago. Pastor Tommy was there. They said to me, something can be achieved in 1 year. Professor Tommy agreed with them. Professor Tommy agreed with them. I said, I disagree. And they said, no, Peter, I said, listen, I'm going to be the man they will hold responsible. So let me agree the number of years it will work. Now, when I went to Anambra State, I told them, if any of your cobble is missing, hold me responsible. I took a more difficult decision, which I said somewhere today. Somebody in my position cannot steal public money. If I steal public money, I'm actually inviting curse of God on myself and possibly my family, because He gave me enough. I believe that I have enough of anything. I'm not hiding. I've told people everywhere I go, I'm not a poor man. I'm a very rich man. And I work hard for it. And I don't hide it. Because everything I do is visible. People can see it. It's not anything you can imagine. It might not be excessive, but it's enough for me to live. And greed must have a limit or you're sick. I'm not a sick person. And that's why I told Daddy, you're not sick. Whatever you want, God gave it to you. And I want to do this job. So I urge all of you, as you go around, I know you have certain sentiments and everything, but think about the future of society your children will live in. Think about what you're going to hire, an example you're going to give your children. One of the people I met 2 days ago asked me a question. Just like the bondholders. Those who are owing our bond asked me this afternoon, Peter, what are you going to do about debts of Nigeria? And say every debtor will be paid. Are you sure? I said yes. Because I'm already telling what to do with Nigerian debt. Nigerian debt today is unimaginable. I went to Bauchi. All of you must have heard it and read it everywhere. And I said to the people, I'm going to go to the tomb of Tafa Balewa. Why do I want to go there? I said that was man who led Nigeria when we had meaning. In 1964, June 17th, Tafa Balewa, then Prime Minister, wrote the World Bank to build the Kainji Dam to generate 760 megawatts of electricity to spur economic growth in Nigeria. World Bank in return congratulated him for doing a great work and approved the $82 million. 59 years after, Kainji Dam is still there, standing. Yet, this country, as at this year, by the time include the 7 trillion we're going to borrow to support our budget, we'll be owing 77 trillion naira, which at official rate of 410 naira, our debt will be $187 billion. $82 million in 1964 is worth anything between $1.2 billion and $1.4 billion. I use the average of 1,250,000,000 to divide 187. He gave me 150 Kainji dams. Where are they? Where do you see it? We can't continue this way. That is why I said one of the first laws I will take to National Assembly is that all borrowed money must be for production. It must be for investment, not for consumption. If we have to starve, we'll starve. I assure workers, I know that everybody will say, how about our welfare? What are we going to do? It's in my manifesto. People say, he said he will increase salary. I said to them, let me tell you, all of us will be working together, sharing together, and we'll see what we are producing. As we produce more, we'll be increasing. That's what we are going to be doing. Those of you who know my history knows if Mr. Ugonzo, who used to be an NLC leader in my state, is there. When we had issue with NLC, I told him, I said, Ugonzo, I'm going to announce your name this night as Commissioner for Finance, so that you will see that whatever we get, we'll share. I know that the workers are willing to work. All I can tell you now is that the new government will not be monkey they work, baboon they chop. If monkey work, monkey go chop. If baboon no work, we throw the baboon out. No longer baboon. We make sure that all baboon will be removed so that whatever monkey is able to work, he will participate in chopping. We will tackle the issue of education. We will tackle the issue of education. All development areas will be aggressively tackled. Education, health, and pulling people out of poverty. And it will be measurable. This will not be where we do things in TV. I've gone to Aba, I've gone to Lagos, I've been to Kanu, I've been to everywhere to ask small businessmen, did you see the small business people loan? No. I've gone to the farmers to show whether I grew as I didn't see anything. So my dear people, as I conclude, I thank you. The future of your children is in your hands. The society you are helping them to abuse today will only take its revenge on your children tomorrow. Thank you and God bless you.
Comrades, Isoleto, our people united. Our people united. Well, comrades, we did promise that we'll bring those looking for job to come for interview. Well, comrades, clearly the applicant has come and he has told you how ready he is to do the job. It is left for us to decide whether he will be able to do the job or not. And that decision will form part of our discussions going forward. It will reflect in how the votes will happen. If what he has told us is what you feel is needed to do the job, then the needful will be done. So, I'm not sure there is anybody here that didn't hear him clearly. You heard him loud and clear? You heard him loud and clear? So, he has to go do some dancing in other arena. We have listened to him. And he came out the way you have said, loud and clear. I will not interpret or summarize because I don't have that capacity. I'm trying to learn to move into production. So let me not spoil the movement. I will therefore urge the leadership of Congress to properly appreciate and see off our August visitor because he's done us proud by honoring our invitation. Great Nigerian workers, I have been pushed, but you know standards are standards. There were no questions in the afternoon, there won't be any questions in the evening. Each person has spoken loud and clear. The choice is yours. Thank you, Peter Obi, for coming to Congress.
What section? Can you say?